But so yeah, AEW last night, I thought this was kind of like almost a reset for the company. I thought Wrestle Dream was a bit of a reset. Dynamite was, them trying to tell the story of what the TV show is going to look like going forward, and kind of planted the seeds for the top storylines through the end of the year. And I thought they did a really good job for the most part. And the original title is AEW enters its NWO era. And the NWO, the BCC, kind of doing reminiscent of 1996 Hall, Nash, and Hulk Hogan, man, with the way they're attacking the entire AEW roster.
Yeah, I agree. It's probably my favorite episode of Dynamite in a long time, to be honest with you. I've raved about how much I like the Moxley character right now. I thought a lot of the online speculation that someone is manipulating Moxley has kind of been put to bed, which is good. Nobody should ever have to manipulate Jon Moxley, right? I love this. I love the end of Wrestle Dream. I thought the whole thing was great. This was a really good. It was like a soft reboot to Dynamite. It felt like a new era. It felt a little bit more dangerous. It felt a little bit more interesting. Like, I like what the BCC is right now. I liked the NWO, but they're wearing white shirts, right? Except for Pac, who doesn't wear clothes. Like, they're like, it's not about branding, which I kind of dig. Like, and I think Moxley's got very interesting motivations as a heel. Like, he's like, the company has lost the way. We have to baptize this place in fire. We have to purify it. And I'm like, that's a cool villain. That's a cool villain trope. Like, it's not original, but it's kind of like Ra's al Ghul. I'm in my Batman mood, right? Ra's al Ghul is an eco-terrorist. He is going to save the planet by eliminating people, right? It's kind of where Jon Moxley is right now. And if you've watched AEW for last year, you can kind of go, yeah, I get where you're coming from. Wipe this whole thing out and start from scratch.
Yeah. What do you say to the argument that it's not a good idea to have your top star going around telling everybody that the company sucks?
I hear that, and I can understand that. At the same time, that's what the NWO did.
Yeah.
And that was a very successful storyline. The problem is you can't go to it too much. And the problem with the NWO storyline is that they never established that WCW was good. If the end result here is to establish that no, AEW has been saved and is in a better place, then it works. If the idea is AEW sucks and will continue to suck, I think you're in problems. Like, I think it all depends. I mean, he's the heel. Like, he is this top star, but he's a villain. We're not supposed to think that he's right. The problem with the NWO storyline is they were right, and they never got proven wrong. Right? So, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Like, your villains here, and I hate this. Like, if it's John Cena saying WWE sucks, that's a problem. But like, him, like CM Punk's whole thing was saying WWF sucked, and it turned him into a huge baby face, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
and he was right at the time.
He was right. But that's the thing, though, is like, this stuff can work. It can be pulled off if there's an idea and if there's a storyline going through to it. I saw someone say that. I heard RJ City's running this whole thing, and someone said
Ibu, by the way.
It was Ibu said that. Okay, yeah. I'm way out. I haven't been on Twitter in forever. I also heard, I was on Reddit today when I saw someone say that RJ City is clearly influenced by Heat with this storyline. Of Heat, right, Mike? The Michael Mann film, Pacino, De Niro. Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see it at all right now.
The Dark Knight, Heat.
The Dark Knight, exactly. Dark Knight is 100% a Heat remake. Batman again,
which is also why I love it.
It's a great movie, man. A great remake of a great movie.
Yeah,
I don't see that right now because I don't see who Pacino is. Right, I don't see who it could be. Darby, but right now we're not there yet. Right now, it feels to me like I agree with someone said. Someone in the chat said it's actually more like the new Blood versus Millionaires Club. No, that's stupid. That's not true.
No,
this has definitely more NWO vibes to it, and I think this might fulfill the promise of Darby becoming Sting.
I think so, because if you listen closely, I don't think Excalibur is very good at his job. To be quite honest, I've never been a fan.
There was a time I would have argued with you, but I've come to your line of thinking, and you are correct.
I think the AEW announce crew is too busy popping each other, right? Especially if you like say you missed it last night because you're watching horror movies and baseball instead of Dynamite, which is what I did last night. But I got up this morning and I just went on the internet and I found a link to watch the show out of my garage. on my iPad while I worked out and I did some cleaning and stuff like that. I had my headphones in, so I was able to catch. And so like on some of the commercial breaks, it's just Nigel and Excalibur and Tony Schiavone like trying to make each other laugh. But anyway, at one point he said Darby has been nowhere to be found since what happened. Nobody can get a hold of him. Nobody knows what's going on with Darby. So they left that mystery out there, the mystery of Darby. The mystery of Darby is Sting, right? Like he is slowly transforming into Sting, which is, like you said, fulfilling the prophecy. I can absolutely see that. I like what I do. The BCC, I think is great. I think Moxley's doing the best work of his career. I think he's probably in the best shape of his career.
That's
like
great.
the guy looks great. And I think that had he done it with his soft body that he had like last year, might not have been as effective, but he's coming out there with his fucking muscles. It's like, okay, now he looks a bit more badass. And sorry, I know that's body shaming, but I don't give a fuck. Like people with muscles tend to be more scary on television. I'm just the way it goes.
We're talking about pro wrestlers here, man. Like the body is part of it. And I think that's what I like about this too, is I think Moxley's got a different look.
Yeah.
Right. He's shaving his head now. He doesn't look like the same guy who was the AEW champion 3 other times before this. Right. There's a different vibe to him going right now. And I think the reset's been good for him. Like this is, I think this is his Hollywood Hogan era. Like this is intriguing to me. And I think that just because it's NWO influence doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because the NWO was UWF influenced.
Yeah. Everything's influenced by something else, right? So you just take old ideas and you just kind of turn them into your own. That's just the way pro wrestling is.
Well, it's not just pro wrestling, but all art. And here, I love this one. This isn't me. I forget who says this. All art is either an influence of or a rejection to whatever came before it.
Yeah.
Right. So Dadaism is a reaction to realism. Right. Surrealism, same thing. Like modernism is a reaction to Dadaism because they got tired of the weird and went back to what's super regular. You know what I'm saying? Like, and pop art is a rejection of that. So all art kind of moves like that. And like, that's kind of what wrestling is too. It's like, we're going to take the kernel of the invasion storyline, right? And we're going to grow on it. So, I mean, and I like what it has to say. I like that because I don't think you should say, I think you're lying to your audience if you tell AEW fans that everything is great and nothing's better. I mean, like, it's not the company it was 5 years ago. A lot of those good vibes are gone. So why lie? Why not rebuild? Right? Why not try to do something different? I don't hate it at all. You say, well, perception is reality. Well, perception is reality. There isn't good perception right now. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to continue lying about it, or are you going to do something about it? I like doing something about it.
Yeah, and I like that the heel is like you were saying, if it were the babyface saying that the company sucks, then it probably wouldn't work. But in the WWF, or WWE, sorry, I've been watching a lot of old shit. The WWE, it worked to CM Punk as the babyface saying the WWE sucked because Vince McMahon and Triple H were heels on television.
CM Punk wasn't the heel or wasn't the babyface at the start of that. Remember, he was feuding with John Cena. He was supposed to be the heel, but everybody went, yeah, he's right.
He's right. And it turned him babyface, and he came back and he was a real babyface like after that. But it also helped his cause that Triple H and Vince McMahon had been heels for so long on television. And now they're like total babyfaces on TV, and that's kind of part of their appeal. But so I think I really enjoyed what they did last night. I think the only problem I have so far, like they killed Danielson, and the only people coming out as far as baby faces go to fight them are like mid-carders and like lower end guys, right? And that just shows you kind of how weak the babyface side of the house is in AEW, because Will Ospreay is not coming out to fight those guys. He's worried about Kyle Fletcher, right? He's got his own other thing. So we get, Daniel Garcia, who's great, obviously, but not a top guy. We get Orange Cassidy, lower mid card, can be upper mid card guy. Private Party, okay, Top Flight. I'm trying to think of an actual top guy babyface. Darby didn't come out because Darby's doing his own thing, but they don't have Lex Luger and Randy Savage in this company.
Yeah, but Randy Savage is taken out, right? So I mean, it was just Lex Luger. Like the NWO, when you look back on those old W shows, they're beating up mid-carders.
Yeah, but they had no top baby faces to fight against. I'm talking about BCC has no top baby faces to fight against right now.
I mean, like Luger, I guess you can make the argument for Luger because Savage disappears very quickly into that and everything, and they start feuding with the Horsemen, and the Horsemen have always been like pseudo heels.
Right, but they turned babyface during the NWO thing, and I thought that was
not right away. Not right away. Like we're 1 week into this thing. Like
Yeah.
I think we need to they're still in the establishing period of what this really is right now. And like I don't want Osprey is doing his own thing right now. Like he's
Yeah,
off
but
and
he loves the company though, and Jon Moxley is saying if anybody that works for this company doesn't like what we're doing, we're here. Moxley or so Osprey doesn't care.
well, Osprey's got his own problems to worry about right now. He's got Don Callis' whole crew that wants to kill him as well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you got to take care of your own house before you start worrying about what your neighbors are doing.
Well, I mean, AEW is his house.
But I mean, like,
But I'm also
about
applying
your
I'm
lawn.
applying logic to an illogical situation, obviously. But
I mean,
devil's advocate.
I mean, I guess I hear what you're saying, but I mean, like, if he wasn't involved in anything, I'd be like, okay, sure. But I mean, like, he does have his own problems going on with the other major heel group going on right now. So, and I think we're setting up the Elite to do something.
Oh
So,
man. So that was my next topic. The Elite are a bunch of cuckolds. Like they were the top heels in the company, and they just sat there looking like geeks while the BCC looks so fucking cool and badass. And you got the Jackson boys, silly asses, with their hair dye and their stupid outfits. And you got Okada out there, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, who's a one-note joke in the company right now, looking like geeks, standing there watching the BCC look like the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. It was weird, but it also was like, yeah, you guys just got alphaed for your top heel spot. Get the fuck out.
I think that was by design.
Probably, but I'm looking at them like, you guys didn't get over. Get the fuck out. Get off my TV, dipshits.
So I find this interesting because, like, earlier in the show, they mentioned Kenny Omega's birthday, and so AEW social media is steering to Kenny Omega stuff. So I can't help but wonder if Kenny's getting close to a comeback. I can't help. I don't know. I don't know where he's at right now, but
I think Ibushi said as much, and like they're already teasing January 4th, Tanahashi and Omega versus the Bucks.
Well, I mean, like if which would be awesome. Well, I mean, like Kota Ibushi says a lot of things.
He does.
You know, you can't take Kota at his word. So, like, I can't help but wonder kind of where this is going with Kenny Omega, where he fits in. I mean, because isn't it time to emasculate the Elite? Haven't they proven themselves to be not good as the top heels? I mean, I think that was an important moment in the show where Moxley said, "You guys are done," and we saw that. Like, we saw that plain as day. Even though those guys have 4 belts, they were completely. I like how you called them cucks. Like they were completely emasculated by the BCC, which was great.
They got mirrored right on television, right? Like, which is funny because Bobby Lashley's down in the company.
That's true.
Yeah.
And Damian Priest is in the other company. Life can imitate art.
Yeah, it does. It does. Here, let's go to the chat. And then we got a bunch of more topics, and we're actually just shooting the shit, and we're hoping that, let me check my Twitter. Okay. We're hoping that Ibu is going to join us here in a little bit. If not, Ibu doesn't join us, I hope you guys still click the like and subscribe button anyway. Let's see. Transferring Heat says 3 invasion group angles in 1 calendar year is a choice. This is the only invasion one that I've seen.
What else was invaded?
I don't know. I don't.
And it's not really an invasion. These guys have all worked for AEW for years.
Right. Yeah. They kind of just work there. Now, if it was like outsiders coming in, but I don't see this. Yeah, you're right. It's not an invasion.
Right. No one's going in. No one's leaving or coming or going. Like, so.
Right. They're just trying to cleanse the company from within.
Right.
Because it's rotten to the core. Speaking of rotten to the core, hey guys, given how Jimmy Jacobs recently left AEW, do you think Tony Khan listens to Voices of Wrestling? I think that's a great question.
I think if you heard our Patreon this week, if you heard our overtime this week, I talked about my magical powers and my will of influence, because I went on a tirade about why Jimmy Jacobs should be fired on this show a week ago, and the next day it happened. So I need $10 million, and I'm throwing that into the ether to see if I can repeat this. It had to happen, man. It had to happen.
Does he listen to the flagship? I think so. I think he does. And in fact, I think him and Joe Lanza have been kind of like friendly. I wouldn't say they're like friends, but I'm sure I know Joe's like openly spoke about times that he's had, sent messages back and forth with Tony. So I do think that he's aware of the show, at least.
We have a mutual friend who's told us that there are people in that company who do listen to our show, which is kind of cool. I have not had that confirmed, but I have heard that there are people there who listen to us, which is, kind of neat. But
I,
yeah.
I think enough time has passed. We can go ahead and say this now. We did get it confirmed from a close friend of ours that one Jon Moxley actually watched our show at least one time because
Yep.
he sent the show over to him and said, "Hey, look, these guys are spot on."
Yep.
And we've never really said that publicly until just now. So
I wasn't gonna say it, but you did. I mean, like it was one of my tirades, and he's like,
yeah.
Right.
Well, enough time has passed. I'm not going to say who he sent it to and who sent it to us, but and that was very nice. So I do know that people in AEW have definitely crossed our show, and I know the flagship specifically.
Well, the flagship is one of the flagships, and I'm not just saying because they're our bosses, but the flagship is probably the most important independent professional wrestling podcast in the game. Like it really is.
Yeah.
So people listen, right?
Well, they provide actual opinions and constructive criticism, and that's kind of what we like to do here. We're just kind of like JV League flagship is what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Io says, I do see Darby. I think he means eventually winning the big one. Yeah, so do I.
I think so too. I think this is. I do. I think they're going to do Hogan Sting, but they're going to do it right because they saw what happened. I think Tony would like to stick a Derek Bischoff and do a better version. I don't know if that's going to be reality, but I think that's where the story ends. And I want to kick them. I don't want that to happen for another 6 months down. Like do that at like All In or something like that. Like I just don't want it to happen now.
DJ Premier BZ says the BBC suck. Hey, sir, put that in your Google that and see what happens to your Google if you put in the BBC suck. That might
destroy your algorithm for the rest of time.
Yeah, I mean, I do know like some of their shows, like Planet Earth, from BBC in the UK, is a pretty good show. I think.
Yeah. BBC in the UK. See, Google that. See what you come up with there.
Yeah. No pad, no pencil says this angle is going to get AEW back to its roots with long-term booking. I think so, and I think that's been kind of the word around the company is right now is that they're a bit more organized, and that this show that they had last night had been already written out for a couple of days, which is something that hasn't happened in a while. They've been changing it up until like the last minute, but this show had already been written and approved and organized way ahead of time. So I think we might kind of be on the right track. One of the things that Ibu said on his podcast, and we're going to hopefully get a chance to talk to him tonight, said that Jimmy Jacobs left and they just promoted somebody from within. He wouldn't reveal who that was. That right now things are kind of like everybody's on the same page, going in the right direction. So hopefully things get better from here. Who knows?
I think you and I both know who that is, who got promoted. I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to speculate.
Yeah.
We've had some conversations with some friends, and I think if you're listening to this show, you could probably figure out who's probably taking Jimmy's job.
Yeah. Logan James asked a great question. What is your opinion of the PWI top 10 best women wrestling? Logan, I don't give a fuck about the PWI top 10. Look, I'm not trying to shit on your question. I thought that was a funny way to answer it, but I legitimately like PWI. It's like a kayfabe list. It's like getting a toy with your Happy Meal at McDonald's. Like nobody, I don't know.
My kid got a miniature McDonald's crock, like a crock shoe today.
Dude,
it's big.
Yeah. I have to take my daughter this weekend to go buy Crocs because she got one in her Happy Meal. Yep. All the kids at school are wearing Crocs now. I used to make fun of people who wore Crocs. Like I said very mean things to people who wear Crocs. So JD is one of them. Well, now I have to eat my own words because now my kid wears Crocs, and I have to love people who wear Crocs.
I am Crocs. That's what were we talking about? What was the question?
I don't know.
I mean, that's not us, man. Like we're not gonna put 1 ounce of thought into what Pro Wrestling Illustrated is. I'm not 12 anymore. When I was 12, the PWI 500 was super important to me. But
it was a big deal. But I mean, like in their PWI, it's so weird. The PWI 500 is like intergender, and then like now they have a 250 for just women.
Don't go there.
I know. And so I think that's weird. And I think last year Naito didn't even make the list. You know what I mean?
Champion. Jesus Christ. This is why you can't take this thing seriously. Tetsuya Naito didn't make the PWI 500. Think about it.
Right. So I think the whole thing is just it's pretty lame. But look, people that have fun doing that have fun. Like I used to when I was a kid, go to the grocery store with my mom, and I would just go over to the magazine section and I'd pull up PWI and I would read it, and I would read WoW magazine that Bill Apter had kind of broke off, and then I would get the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Almanac that had all like the historical records, and I would read all that. So, but now that I'm 41, I don't live my life in kayfabe anymore. So
No,
I don't really see any value in it.
I'm happy with this kayfabe that we're the kayfabe of the smart work is what we do.
All right, let's see. You think they are straightening out their booking before the new TV deal starts, and every show will be canon with each other? I think they're just trying to refocus things. I don't think this has anything to do with their TV deals. If anything, they were going to do it before they actually sign and get everything back together. But in fact, they've been in a steep decline and got the deal anyway. So I don't really think the TV deal has anything to do with the fact that they're improving things. I think that they just saw that things were not working out and they decided to go in a new direction.
I think the TV deal gave Tony Khan some pause, right?
Yeah.
I think the pressure is off him now, and now I think he feels like he doesn't have to scramble to do his show anymore. I think they were so worried about it's like when you're spinning plates, right? Like you got to worry about the one plate, and then you got to go to the other plate, and then you got to run to the other plate. You got to make sure all those plates are spinning at once. And I think now that the plates fallen off and broken, you can just worry about the one, and just really focus on the one plate. So I think that I think that there's more focus because they don't have to worry about ratings anymore, because they really don't. Because once they put the show on Max, once they live stream the show to Max, then those ratings don't mean shit.
Yeah, Dave Meltzer said that they would still mean shit because that's where the bulk of their money's coming from, and they still have to make them happy. But it's not going to be as a big a deal as it once was.
I know we can say that, but I mean, in reality, by simulcasting the show on Max, you are cutting off your nose. So you don't cut off your nose to spite your face. So you don't really give a shit what your face looks like. Like, I know they can say that, and the bulk of the money comes from this and whatever, but I mean, if they're going to live stream the show at the same time, simulcast the show, it's going to go down. I'm never going to watch that stupid TBS app again. I fucking hate that thing.
Yeah, me too. I actually canceled Paramount Plus. Thankfully, at the same time, my daughter told me that Paw Patrol is for toddlers and she doesn't like it anymore. I was like, thank God.
It's a hard moment when your kid starts leaving behind things, and you're
I
like,
know.
I was a little sad to lose Paw Patrol. We're keeping Paramount Plus until Frasier, the new Frasier season is done. We're big Frasier fans over here.
Yeah, I wanted to keep it because the new season of Dexter's coming on, and I was going to watch that. But
I never watched Dexter.
I loved Dexter. It got me through my first deployment, and then they came out with the new season a couple years ago. Now they're doing like an origin story, so I'm all in on Dexter again. But I can find other ways to get that. So
I know you can.
Yeah. I'm not that worried about it. So I've canceled Paramount Plus. And I'm going to put those resources towards getting HBO Max back because my wife's cousin canceled her subscription like a jerk right before she asked to borrow my truck. She borrowed it and then canceled it. I was like, what the hell?
What the fuck? But, yeah. I felt that way about my brother's Netflix subscription, which he canceled it right as my son wanted to start watching One Piece. If you know what One Piece is, God help you.
Yeah, no, I thankfully we haven't bridged that one yet. So
that's anime. So I don't think you're gonna have that experience.
No, my daughter on Netflix, she likes Gabby's Dollhouse. That's like her deal.
So, we're watching anime now. It's a show with 1,000 episodes, Mike.
Yeah. So hold on, just one more. Let's see. Everything Pro Wrestling. I was disappointed by people crapping on this Dynamite. Like 1 week, people want long-term booking. I think this Dynamite wasn't the most exciting thing. It was them setting the table for what's about to come.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it was.
It's episode 1. So, but I think everybody wanted, probably 5-star matches and a bunch of different angles. When really, they're just setting the direction going forward.
This is reality. What anyone posts on Twitter isn't real, and you can't take the temperature of anybody because you ask 10 people, they think you're going to get 9 different answers, right? You're lucky if 2 people agree. So, like, what I mean, like, and that's the problem with AEW's fan base is they don't know who to serve all the time because there's some people that just want 5-star matches. There's some people that want like old school booking. There's some people that want sports entertainment, and for too long they've been trying to serve all of those fans, instead of really just creating AEW fans and figuring out what AEW fans like and like saying, this is what we are. You know, I think for too long they've been too focused on trying to be all things to all people and be the three ring circus. Well, there's another company that does that and they do it better than you. So just be you.
Yeah.